let me teach you about the blindfold theory. And this is a theory that I've come up with on my own, right? So when you're born, you have a physical sense, which you see out of your physical eyes. And then you have a spiritual sense. And the blindfold, if you don't know Christ and you were born into a family who doesn't teach you about Christ, the blindfold is automatically on your eyes. This would be you. You're blind and you're walking in the world, and you're collecting this from the world and this from the world, and you're gaining all of this knowledge. But in the end, you're blind, and you never know anything. Now you have the worldly knowledge, but you don't have the spiritual knowledge, in the spiritual sense, to put everything to place. You have what the world teaches you, but you never have what God teaches you. Now in the second part of this theory, you have where I would fall into play. You have the person who grew up, he was taught about Christ, they know Christ, and they turn away. As they get older, they turn away and decide, I want to see what the world's got to offer. So for that person, born being able to see and hear in the physical and spiritual, that person willfully says, hey, I want to put my blindfold on. Boom. And now you're worse off than the other person. You're worse off than the person who never knew, because you knew Christ. You knew God, and you knew that he was real. And instead of following him, you chose worldly advice and knowledge over his. So you made a great exchange. You made an exchange for godly knowledge and godly wisdom for the world. And you gain this in the world, you gain this in the world, you gain this in the world. But now if you notice, you're blind. Before you could see, before things made sense, but now you're blind. No matter where you go in life, no matter what you accomplish, you'll always be blind. Until the day you die, you would be blind, unless you accept Christ again. Now, why do I think it's important you take your blindfold off? Because to be honest, as long as you have your blindfold on, you'll never be free. You'll never be free from sin. You'll never be free from the world. And to be honest, you're dead. You're physically alive, but spiritually you're dead. And spiritual death is, I guarantee you, 100 times worse than physical death. And my point is, you live your whole life. Whoa, got some honey bun on my chin. Oh no, that's my hair. You live your whole life. Thinking that you're living. And to be honest, you'll never know what true life is until you gain that spiritual sense. You'll never know what true life is until you accept Jesus Christ and you've been redeemed and you're walking that walk. Because in that light, hey, sunshine popped up perfectly on time though. I'm not gonna lie. That's perfect. But in that light, when you're walking with Christ, nothing else matters. That's a freedom that majority of people in this world will never have. They'll never have the freedom to be able to go wherever they go and do whatever they do with the confidence in God. Not confidence in themselves. They don't have confidence in themselves. But they gain confidence in themselves from the confidence they put in God. Because they know what God says about them. I know what God says about me. Do you know what God says about you? And you'll never know what God says about you unless you take off that blindfold and you start walking in the light.